Cowboys trade stuff.
We're back.
I'm back in. That's cool, man.
I knew we were one more move.
So George Pickens is interesting. They didn't give up a ton, right? Third rounder and then a swap, or a third and a six for a set. Yeah,
it's not a ton, but like if you hadn't been intimate with your wife for a very long time and she kind of just brushed past it,
that's kind of
and
the
you
thing
got
here.
like super excited, nobody would be like, "What's wrong with you?"
I feel like
you gotta know where I'm
everybody's
coming from here.
I feel like everybody's super excited because the bar has been lowered exceptionally.
I spent 15 minutes yesterday on a 5th-round running back.
I was going to say, we're getting that jacked up about a 5th-round running back. There's 18 running backs taken before this guy, but somehow the Cowboys have outsmarted the entire NFL because this guy fits perfect here.
Right.
And yeah, same thing with George Pickens, very flawed, extremely flawed. Now, he's been a number one receiver, but that's kind of like saying that the number one pitcher on every staff is an ace.
Sure. But you're not asking him to be.
I don't think he's a number one. Yeah, that's the bonus, is you're asking him to be better than what the Cowboys have after CD. And I would say he certainly is that.
I mean, listen, I heard people saying yesterday, are they the best tandem in the NFL, which is crazy. But CD's good enough, and their situation behind him was bad enough.
Yeah, you'd have to look at all the other. I think Minnesota might have a.
There's others that are better,
Yeah,
but
Addison and Jefferson or Higgins and Chase.
But I guess my point is
they're in the
that
conversation.
CD is so good, and the second guys were so bad that just putting Pickens in the mix might make him in that conversation.
So I was reading about this, and I thought this was funny. It says Pickens can be an issue when he's not getting the ball. He'll be in a contract year in 2025, playing for life-changing money after his trade is finalized. But first-year Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer's strength is culture building.
Yeah.
And the hope here is he'd be able to establish an environment in which someone such as Pickens will buy in and thrive. All right, number one, do we know? He seems like a friendly guy. The media seems to really like him. He's a nice guy. He's not an asshole, Brian Schottenheimer. Do we know what his strengths and weaknesses are just yet? We haven't seen him in the foxhole with bullets flying.
Yeah.
Like, he's pretty good in drills here. But let's see what, like, we've seen nothing from him in-game at all. We don't know what a Brian Schottenheimer room is like because he's never been a coach. So we don't know that his strength is culture building. I think that's funny, number one. Number two, you have to then say, oh, okay, cool. The Brian Schottenheimer culture, that'll be what kind of a Wild West was he coming from? What kind of a crazy culture that...
The inmates running the asylum over there?
He was in a locker room run by Mike Tomlin. And that would be the ultimate place, you might think. We could... I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, they produced Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, so maybe somehow it's well. And then another thing is, when Pittsburgh gives up on a receiver, when Mike Tomlin gives up on a receiver, they don't usually turn into something. In fact, I found one that kind of did. They've let Mike Wallace go, Antonio Brown, and if you look at any of their
Boy,
Mike Wallace.
This is a list of guys you might remember.
Well, Mike Wallace was early 2010s, had a couple of really good years, over 1,000 yards receiving. Contract year a little lower. Then he went on to Miami and didn't really do much. Antonio Brown.
Yeah, he had to host 60 Minutes.
Antonio Brown was.
That didn't hit.
You gotta shoot.
Yep. Keep going.
Antonio Brown obviously was awesome. And looking at his numbers, dude, unbelievable. Like, he had a couple of years, 129 receptions and 136.
He was returning punts some of that time, too, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they were throwing him the ball all the time, too. 193 targets.
That's awesome.
But, he's catching them. So, tons of yardage. He was great. And, of course, once he left, he didn't do anything. He... 3 more years, and then he's out of the league. Juju Smith-Schuster, another guy that other teams got really excited about. Didn't do anything after he left. Chase Claypool.
Yeah.
If you remember that as being a hot name, fantasy name for a little while, right?
I was very excited about him.
Um,
Well, it's something.
the one that really did turn out was Emmanuel Sanders.
Ah.
He left Pittsburgh and actually got better. He's the one guy. He had 626 yards, then 740 his last 2 years with Pittsburgh. Denver started really featuring him. He was their number one receiver. And 1,400 yards, 1,100, over 1,000, continued on with more good years. So that is the one guy that seems to have gotten away. Now, I will say this about George Pickens, if you want to get excited again. The quarterbacks he has worked with, Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. So those are the guys he has had for the past 3 years.
Good Lord. By the way, what's their plan at quarterback this year? Anybody check that depth chart lately?
I believe
Aaron Rodgers?
we're hoping
Or what are we-
for Aaron Rodgers, and right now it seems like it's going to happen only because I don't know of any other suitors for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't know of any other available starting quarterbacks.
That's one of the things. You
Yeah.
have to have a place where he could start.
Yeah, that's a trash list of quarterbacks for sure. So that's what you're hoping. But really you're hoping that it's just that his skill set matches perfectly with what the Cowboys need someone to do. And Dak
Which is?
stretch the field for sure and beat man coverage. The Cowboys were awful against man coverage last year. And there's few I made this point to TC yesterday, and it might sound silly. There's few things that frustrate me more when watching football than someone who can't beat press coverage, because I couldn't. And I know how it feels, and it's like being in prison. And just watching the Cowboys receivers try to get off the line, and now they're 2 yards out of bounds because they don't have anybody that can beat anybody. Terp is too small. He can hide occasionally and find a soft spot, but they need somebody who will just run over a DB and keep running. And Pickens will do that.
He's kind of what I think you wanted Gallup to be.
Gallup was great. Gallup was really good at his peak at being that guy. Stretch the field.
Go win a one-on-one.
Go win a one-on-one. Would be willing to block. Pickens is kind of a boom or bust blocker. Have you seen those highlight reels? That's fun.
No.
He will not block downfield sometimes because he's afraid of the tackle like rolling him up.
He does a lot of whatever he wants to do.
Because that's how Tank Dell got hurt.
That's right.
Broke his leg?
I don't remember what it was, but
Anyway, that was in Pickens' head last year.
the other thing is just people have these highlight tapes of he's, I don't know, figured out, but usually most corners are playing like in a squatted position up on you. And you can find highlight reels of George Pickens is doing like but I didn't know we couldn't do that, where he'll just shove them down. And then the play's over. It's like he's like, I don't know if anybody ever realized this, but you can just push that guy over because he's looking to run. And people, whoever wrote that article was interviewing some of the DBs on his team about it. And they're like, the guy's a weirdo. Like he's running routes that don't exist. Everything he does, it looks weird, but because of that, it kind of works.
Sounds like he gets vocal if he doesn't get the ball.
I think you can only do this because CD is such a pliable soul. I don't think you can have two maniacs.
The positive is that the spin would be it is his contract year. He's trying to show that he can, get in that $20 million range at least. Like that's for a second receiver now.
Yeah.
You'd be paying $20 million. The opportunities will be here because he is kind of like the other guy. He's been a number one, probably miscast as a number one. This might be perfect for him. Stable quarterback, stable number one receiver.
I mean, the only thing that I could see being a problem is it's not like, oh, I get loud if I don't get the ball. And you don't know from reading a couple profiles and watching a couple interviews, but the dude is a loose cannon. Like, he thinks he's the best receiver in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And in an interview I read, he's just like, yeah, I play mad because it doesn't make sense that there are any plays where I'm on the field and I don't have the ball.
Look,
He's like, so I'm pissed off out there.
how is this always wide receivers?
I've said it a million times. It's because you have to run so much and nobody's paying attention to you. Like 90% of the time you're running for a lot, 20, 30 yards, and it's just like, oh, I'll run back and do that again. And for guys like that, who's 6'3", 200, runs a 4.4, he calls himself like a creative player because that's what he looks like. He's thinking, every coach who doesn't throw me the ball is a moron.
I wonder what his steps are like after a game. You guys see Jordan Lewis tweet?
It was a big day.
Hilarious.
It was a fun day.
He's like, had something to do with
God wanted me in Jacksonville.
Yeah, clearly God wanted me in Jacksonville because that was the guy that yanked him down by his face mask at the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
After the Cowboys won.
Oh yeah. Yeah, not the only cornerback, or excuse me, the only receiver that J. Lou pissed off, but
And not the only DB Pickens tried to fight.
that's true.
He was fined over $200,000 last year, or in 2023.
He probably wasn't making more than.
Now, was that by the Steelers or by the league?
It was a combination of both. There are a lot of taunting and fighting, but he'll miss a meeting on you. In fact, he was 45 minutes late to the game against the Chiefs on Christmas?
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. It's not that he'll miss a meeting on you. It's that you find out about it because he plays in Pittsburgh and gets fined. Dez was not on time to a single meeting in
That's a good point.
6 years.
I was going to ask you, did they basically trade for Dez Bryant?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that his peak is quite there, but
Contested guy,
I don't think
attitude.
I don't think it's that far off.
Well, and Dez Bryant's peak was worth
The trouble.
whatever you had to deal with Dez Bryant.
But the only problem
he
is he was the best receiver on the team. Like, as Pickens gets older, if they're winning, it'll be fine. But he's going to think, like, I mean, why can't I be the guy?
But is he an intense practice guy?
I think so.
Like, are we going to have – like, Dez would not let up during practice. And that's something we loved. And it, in theory, made the other players better. And
I have read differing reports on that, to be honest with you. But I'm –
on what?
Whether the practice thing, like
about George
how
Pickens?
hard he goes, yeah.
Okay. Oh, like he might just not practice?
Yeah. But, man.
Well, Shoddy will take care of it.
It's culture. The combo of him and Micah, like, I can confidently say that I have a prominent space cadet on both sides of the ball on my football team now.
Same agent.
Who?
Did you see that?
Don't even know their name.
Oh, that's what Jerry said.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was very excited yesterday. I mean, I'm one day away from saying they really need to move a 2 or a 3 from a receiver, and I don't think they'll do it. And then they did it. Everyone on Cowboys social media seems to think, hey, there's 2 moves, because Jerry said we have 2 big moves that could happen. Well, Breece Hall. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Cowboys. They had a great draft once you add a receiver to it, and everything else in my sports life until Moose sucks. So
I thought our buddy Vach made a great point because he's in the same line. Now go get Breece Hall and you're a contender. And people are like, oh, you're getting too greedy. But he was quick to point out the Eagles drafted a 1 and traded for A.J. Brown and then added Saquon. Like, you don't make one move. You make all the moves.
yeah.
And so, yeah, go get Breece Hall while you're at it.
The Cowboys, though, actually haven't really been all in
No.
over these years, and they could have. You know, they traded Amari when they didn't need to. Like, the point is, you don't have to elevate CD, you don't have to trade Amari. Now you got 2 kind of number 1s. Maybe Amari had other stuff going on as well. Vax and all that. But
I can tell you this. I now look at Cowboys transactions as, will this make our watching parties more fun? George Pickens makes your watching parties more fun.
Yeah.
On the fun scale, the Cowboys stream gives him a thumbs up.